Hi all, let's do a 5 to 10 minute nutshell version of Alexander Alekhine against NN. So this is someone with no name mentioned. This is in Moscow in 1915. I'm saying 5 to 10 minutes because then there's no editing needed. Whatever it comes out of, I'll put it into the appropriate playlist. If it's less than 5 or 6 or 7, whatever, I'll put it into the appropriate playlist. So let's see. E4. We have E6, D4, D5. So a French defense, classical variation, but now Bishop G5. So the classical system rather, but it becomes the McCutcheon variation, this counterpin. And the most popular move here is E5 in live book, chess-based live book today. E5, and that's what is played. H6, and E takes F6 is played. Quite popular alternatives, especially Bishop D2. For example, Bishop D2 taking. This is thought to be about equal this position, but we have here E takes F6, and this is thought to be okay for black because black's getting some activity. We have H4, G takes H4, Queen G4, protecting that G7 pawn. Just have a look at this position. I believe it's too dangerous to take. It's generally not recommended to take immediately on G7 here, because this threatens Rook H8 check. If Queen takes G5, I think White's thought to be doing quite well here. It seems comfortable for White. It's slight advantage for White. So anyway, G takes H4 is played, and White protects the pawn with Queen G4, Bishop E7, and now G3. This is very interesting. Black played C5, trying to hit the center hard. If Black plays HG, then this is dangerous for Black. In fact, losing probably after Rook H8 is too dangerous. I'll give you an example. If G takes F2, King takes, King D7 to try and rescue this situation. White has strong continuations. The simplest is probably Rook takes and then Knight takes. This is really dangerous for Black. For example, Knight C6, Knight F3, F5, Knight takes E7, hitting the Queen. This is just really very bad for Black. So that will be the simplest. So that really can't be allowed, this Rook H8. So C5, G takes, and we have this potential now, you'll see, for connected passed pawns. After C takes, White doesn't actually move the knight here or take on D4. This would accelerate Black's counterplay here. So White plays a very, very interesting move, H5, to try and get two connected passed pawns on the king side. Let's have a quick look at alternatives here. If Queen takes, this should be quite nice for Black, gaining a key tempo there. D4, castling to pin. This is okay for Black. This position potentially. You can see that well, it's an interesting position actually. It's still got chances for both sides. So that was on Queen takes D4. Yeah, it seems Knight C6. It's kind of logical that maybe Black can even improve here. Maybe E5 can be improved on with Queen A5. So White doesn't particularly want to go into that line, although it is kind of tempting. But also just moving the knight. Then there's Bishop F6 or Queen E5, Queen A5 or E5. And in this case, Black is doing actually very well if he can get that G7 pawn. That's the end of the connected passed pawns dream. So this move H5 really keeps this dream alive of the connected passed pawns at the cost of this knight. D takes, that's taken, H6. So the big, huge, gigantic threat over H7. C takes, now Rook B1, check. And the king doesn't want to play to D1 here. It plays to E2. If King D1, this ruins everything immediately, really. After Queen takes A2, threatening this with check, and Black will be queening. It's horrible. Queen takes check. Bishop F8 is very good, wiping out the pawns basically. And Black will be better, an enormous pawn himself. So King E2 is very necessary and important queen takes a2, but now these connected passed pawns with h7 are very dangerous. You might have thought, hold on a sec, what about the bishop f8 resource? Let's have a look here. Pardon me. The bishop f8 resource, it's actually a legitimate move to try and equalize bishop f8. Yeah, because if h7 we could take here, hitting the queen. So this is a legitimate resource which could actually equalize. Yeah, it's a complicated position, but technically apparently about equal. So anyway, queen takes a2, h7, queen takes b1, h takes g, and yeah, white's doing very, very well here actually, because after check, king f3, yeah, black's king is in grave danger. There's no time to queen the pawn here. Black plays knight c6. If black queens this pawn, let's have a quick look here, then this is actually a forced mate in 4. Takes, check, and then g8 is mate. It's a forced mate in 4. So knight c6 here is trying to avoid getting mated. We have rook, sorry, not rook, queen g takes e6, queen f4 check, and in fact this could have been improved actually. Instead of that, looks very natural to take that pawn, but it actually turns out that this might not have been the strongest move in this position. There's actually a much stronger one, queen f to f4, which kind of bulls the frog. It takes away king escape squares. It's a case of that metaphor where, you know, the frog's unaware of the temperature changes, doesn't go outside of the water. But in chess terms, to like bull the frog, you're subtly taking away escape squares, and this is a boiling the frog move, because if black queens, then can you see what white plays in this position? If I give you 5 seconds starting from now. Okay, queen takes e6 check, because there's another queen over here which comes with a vengeance after queen takes d5 check, and we're mating black. So yeah, that was an absolutely crushing silent killer, queen f to f4. But instead, yeah, this check, that's a bit tricky here. Queen e to e3 check. Again, there was an improvement here technically. Queen takes e7 is better, because after check, the king, I mean, we're winning pieces with check, and in fact this pawn's not going anywhere that quickly. The king's blocking it in now. There's knight d4 and bishop d3 going to happen soon. For example here, sorry, not knight d4, knight f4 to play bishop d3. So it's far from easy to queen that pawn. This would be better for white. So that was interesting as well. Queen takes e7, but we have this check here instead, and now we have 4 queens on the board, 5 queens on the board. Epic. And this is the move Alexander Alekhine gave multiple exclamation marks to, rook h6. It turns out black has a stunning resource which makes things not so incredibly immediately losing for black. There's an incredible resource in bishop g4 check, and what this does is it means this position, let's just go this a bit further, this position is, there's a little bit of work to do, but technically white's better. But you can see black's got some bits left. It's not immediately over. White would still have the advantage though technically, but black blunders horribly with queen takes f1. That's kind of weakness of the last move, because it was covering some key squares here. Can you see which one in particular white taps into now with the next move? If I give you 5 seconds starting from now, you might want to assess pins in the position, and remember that quotation, the power of the pinned piece is illusionary. So white to play here if I give you 5 seconds starting from now. This is a 5 queens position. Queen b4 check. Yeah, these pieces are totally pinned. Queen b5. And I've even gone over 10 minutes. Queen d8 check. Queen e a3 check. And Queen a takes a4 is leading to a checkmate here. So it's actually in an 11-minute nutshell, but it's a game I wanted to go over again because it's a very, very special game. So you see some more variations from my 5-minute chopped up version. I'm not going to do any editing here. I think that's I realise that editing is a bad thing, especially for beautiful games like this with fantastic variations. And also, you know, it's a game from Alexander where he wanted to celebrate, you know, the beauties of chess, connected past pawns, pins, you know, doing your own thing, you know, sacrificing material on one side to do your own thing, you know, positional sacrifices basically to gain time for your own thing. It demonstrates a lot of stuff and creative fantasy. And even in the variations, it shows the power of quiet moves, killer moves in the variations as well, as opposed to immediate forcing moves. So comments, questions, likes appreciated. Thanks very much.